So how many of you freshers? How many are working employees?
I am working.
You're working employee. Okay, so yeah, fine. So working as a manual tester?
Yes, sir. Most is manual.
Okay. What about others? Everyone is fresher or anybody is working employee? No issues. No worries. So friends, brief myself. My name is Ravi Kanth Rela. I'm your senior mentor. So I was giving you a course for a complete package for Selenium automation, like Java, Selenium, DevOps, framework, and project. End to end, I was going to deliver for you batch. So most of the people will have a question, who can take this course? Who can take this course? Selenium automation. Yes, the people who are freshers, the people who are experienced, the people who are non-IT. Yes, any kind of people are eligible for to take this course. Okay. And next question is, what is the prerequisite to take the Selenium automation? Yes, some programming knowledge is like required for to take this Selenium automation. Yes, what kind of languages the Selenium supports means it supports Java, C Sharp, Ruby, Python, R language, Dart, Scala, PHP, okay, what is that? R language, Dart language, Scala, PHP, Go programming, Haskell, etc., etc. Many more languages are supported to work with the Selenium tool. Selenium is a tool which associated with some languages. Any one of language you prefer to develop your using Selenium automation tool. So as this course is designed for Java with the Selenium, so we go first with the core Java.
Hello, ma'am. Aiden, actually,
Selenium tool.
yesterday night.
Friends, we're getting some disturbance. Kindly, can you please?
Actually, he has studied for the unit test. Can he write the unit test and come back? Not in the classroom, at least in the office.
Okay, fine. Core Java and Selenium and DevOps and framework and project. So these things we are covering for our course. So first we'll start with core Java, because if you want to become as a good programmer, you want to become as a good automation engineer, you must be technically sounds good. Technical in the sense, what language you are using to build your automation scripts, that language you must be perfect in that. So I can show you the official website for Selenium will be the selenium.dev is an official website. So here we go. In the banner we can see Selenium automates browsers. That's it. What you do with that power is entirely up to you. Friends, Selenium is an automation tool which automates browsers only. Browsers means web applications. The applications which are open through browser, those are called web applications. So my Selenium 100% automates only web applications, not a window desktop application. That's it. Selenium automates browsers. That's it. What you do with that power is entirely up to you. The power is nothing but not a boost, not a multiple. Yes, the thing is, the power of that is for Selenium is language binding. Any one of language you can prefer in knowing the concepts, then we can using the Selenium tool we can build any automation scripts. So we prefer core Java as a base programming language for work within Selenium. Yes, what concepts in core Java will be learning? Yes, so we'll be learning about what is a project, what is a package, what is a Java class, interfaces, abstract classes, method overloading, overriding rules, polymorphism, constructors, loopings, decision-making statements, single-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, user-defined array, if conditions, okay, switch cases, decision-making statements, loopings, scanner classes, variable types, data types and its default values, typecast, Java inheritance, access, non-access modifiers. Okay, na? Strings, Java strings, debugging, exception handling, collections, file systems. All these concepts will be covered. What are the concepts I have delivered right now? Each and every concepts we are uh, will be having the knowledge on it. So after completion of this Java only, we'll go with the Selenium, because what to do, when to do, how to do. If you don't know the concepts of core Java, how can you build that? So here banner, it was clearly saying that what you do with that power is entirely up to you. The power is nothing but the program knowledge. Whatever the program you selected to build your Selenium automation scripts on that program, core OOPS concepts must be aware of it. Even if you want to become as a good programmer in development aspect or testing aspect, programming knowledge is must. That too, OOPS concepts. Any programming language, OOPS concepts is a basic OOPS concepts is required to work with the Selenium. Okay, now. So here, friends, I will give very clear picture on each and every concept in Java concepts, whatever I have discussed right now. I'll give the concept and I'll give some assignments, references for practicing the programs. Technically, you must be sounds good means not knowing the concepts. You must be also aware of doing the programs also. Okay, now I'll make hands free how to work with programs also while giving the concepts. And after that, one more struggle people will face, like troubleshootings. Okay, once you know the concepts, where to do, how to do, when to do, when you come to know, then you start writing the programs. Okay, yes, when you write the programs, when we run the programs, there is a chance of occurring of runtime errors in the runtime, right? So we would have to diagnose that. We have to diagnose it where exactly the issue was. So most of the people will struggle there itself. In he seeing here and there who will support us. So don't take anyone's support, friends. It just make friendship with the debugging. Okay. So debugger is one of the where it's supposed to debug that your test case steps. Suppose we have 20 lines of 20 sequence lines, one program is there. Suppose in 20 lines, suppose at particular 8th line some issue occurred. Where it is, what it is, we don't know. So exactly we have to find where it is exactly. So while debugging step-by-step execution only, we'll come to know where exactly the issue was. We can troubleshoot easily. So how to debug the scripts also, I will tell you that. So I'll tell you the basic concepts of language, and I'll give some assignments, and I will make you understand how to debug the scripts step by step. Everything I'll give a very clear picture on it. So once after completion of core Java, then we go with the Selenium automation tool. Of course, we have various automation tools are available in the market, but Selenium has become more popular. So it's a user friendly, and we have so many components. Third party tools are which are supported to build a Selenium day to day. Yes, let me show you that. Friends, in Selenium is a tool which has some components. Selenium WebDriver, Selenium ID, and Selenium Grid. Of course, we also have Selenium RC also. RC means remote controller. Okay, WebDriver, IDE, Grid, RC. But RC got deprecated, friends. Only the three components are available in Selenium: Selenium WebDriver, Selenium IDE, and Selenium Grid. The first component in Selenium was Selenium IDE. So Selenium IDE, if you want to work with, not require any programming knowledge. What I said, Java, C#, Ruby, no programming knowledge is required when we are working with the Selenium components IDE. It's just a record and playback tool. Just a record and playback tool. Just you record it. Whatever steps you are supposed to do, before doing that, just start recording and do operations, whatever you want to do. All the statements will be recorded. Lastly, you stop it. Then you play it. Record and playback tool. Just record, do transaction, stop recording and playback. Record and playback tool. Not require any programming knowledge. By default, the backend it stores that recorded steps as a HTML format. Okay, na? But this one, this Selenium ID will be used for pilot projects for getting instant results in producing client for instant results. ID is the supports in case real time we never use ID, friends, just for to show the instant results to the client if any new project comes. Okay, as for pilot projects we prefer as a ID in saving the time in producing the instant results in showing to the clients. Okay, so and next here what we recorded the statements in one browser may sometimes not work in other browsers, and some of the elements may not recorded using Selenium ID. So these all drawbacks as considered, and they have introduced one more component as Selenium WebDriver. So where if you want to work with the Selenium WebDriver, where we must be aware of any one of these language bindings, any one of language bindings, you must be aware of it. While using any one of the language binding, we are going to be build a Selenium WebDriver scripts. A robust browser-based regression automation suites and tests we can build by using the Selenium WebDriver tool, where ID will record it only in one browser, execute in one browser, where in WebDriver we can build in one browser, can execute in n number of browsers. That's what we, if you want to create robust browser based regression automation suites and tests, then we go with the WebDriver. Develop for one drive, one browser, WebDriver browser, you can execute in many browsers. Okay, fine. Once you build your Selenium WebDriver scripts, okay, respect browsers, yes, then the same scripts you are supposed to execute for many platforms, OS, and many browsers. How can we execute the single script in executing in multi-platform OS and multiple browsers parallel with the help of the Selenium grid component? Okay, na? If you want to scale by distributing and running tests on several missions and manage multiple environments from a central point, making it easy to run, making it easy to run the tests against the vast combination of browsers and operating system, then we have to use the Selenium grid. So developing your automation scripts using Selenium, we use Selenium WebDriver by using any one of the language binding. That developed automation scripts we are supposed to scale and distribute in executing in many computers, many operating systems, many browsers with the support of the grid concept. So the appropriate combination for Selenium was WebDriver with the grid, which develops robust browser-based regression automation suites and tests by using grid. It scales and distribute in executing your developer scripts parallelly in many operating system and in many browsers using grid concepts. So the appropriate combination for Selenium was, yes, it was WebDriver and okay, na? This combination we use for Selenium. Friends, Selenium is a free, it's an open source. It's not a paid license software, it's an open source. There are so many, some automation tools are there which are paid one, like UFT right now, what we are talking. It's a paid license tool, automation tool. But whereas Selenium is an open source. So it's a non-profitable organization. Selenium was a non-profitable organization, like you and me can contribute any suggestions, any course, any you want to develop. You can be one of the sponsor level in the Selenium. You can take a membership in a Selenium. There are some so various categories of sponsorship levels are there. Suppose you are the company XYZ, you want to sponsor for the Selenium. Yes, be as a part of the Selenium. As a there are some platinum and gold like these sponsorship levels are there. Be part of that with your company and contribute something for the Selenium, where we can contribute some, we can develop, build some codes improving day to day the Selenium. Likewise here there are so many sponsor levels are there. As I said, it's a non-profitable organization. Selenium tool is a non-profitable organization. There are so many levels of sponsors are there. They are sponsoring and they are building that Selenium day to day. Selenium level sponsors, browser stack, these are the companies are the Selenium level sponsors. If you go down, support the Selenium project. What Want to support the Selenium project, learn more, or view the full list of sponsors. If you click on learn more, you can see not only Selenium level sponsors, we have gold level sponsors, which is a micro focus organization, silver level sponsors, these are the companies listed, and bronze level sponsors, these are the company listed. These are all companies together sponsoring the Selenium to grow day to day. Would you like to your company be listed in this page? Just click on learn more about sponsoring for Selenium. So these are some terms and conditions that are given like here. So if you want to be a sponsor, any one of the category what I shown you, Selenium level sponsors, you have to pay $20,000, platinum level sponsors $10,000, like this. If your company wants to be part of the Selenium, being as a sponsor, any one of the category base, yes, your wish, you can be the sponsor level for this. Okay. Okay. So
Yes.
let's come back. Yes. So friends, we're getting some noise. Can you please don't mind being mute? Yes. Kalpana's. Okay, fine. I'm muting you. So fine. So Selenium is a open source tool, free tool, not required to purchase any license. There are so many sponsor levels teams are there. They are sponsoring and building the Selenium day to day. So what are the components available in Selenium means Selenium WebDriver, Selenium IDE, Selenium Grid, and Selenium RC. 4 components are there. RC got deprecated. Only 3 components are there. Where the appropriate combination for Selenium was Selenium WebDriver with the Grid. Using WebDriver, we build a robust browser-based regression automation suites and tests by using Selenium WebDriver. After developing that, we scale and distribute in executing the developed scripts parallelly in many operating systems and many browsers with the support of the Grid. This is the appropriate combination for Selenium. Okay, now. So what are the components? What are the concepts which we cover in the Selenium means? Let's come to the yes, into this document. Yeah, let's have a glance. What concepts we'll be covering? Yes, we see that how to launch various browsers and how to make the browser launching program dynamically, because launching a browser is a common functionality for every test case. So how do we launch various browsers and adding the jars dependencies? Okay, all those things we'll see that. And next, coming to that, option classes and profiles concept, because when we are running your test case through manually means everything, your presence will be there. If any source stoppers comes like notifications, proxy settings, any certificate errors, any information bars kind of things, anything occurs when you does manually, your intervention will be there, you can handle that. But when everything we are going through automation means, so everything is automation engineer responsibility. If any notifications comes, you must handle through automation. Any certificate errors comes, you must handle with automation. Everything is automation engineer responsibility. So what we can do, we have to take the browser into our control, because what is that? Information bars, notifications, all these comes through browsers. Certificates, all these comes through browsers. Information bars, all these comes through browsers. Maximizing the browser, all this comes through browsers. Everything needs to be handled through Selenium only on browser, whatever the activities appears when we are running through automation. So in that case, we have to take the browser into our control. We have to vasikarna the browser into our control. So how can we take the browser into our control means by just creating our user-defined browser profiles. While creating our user-defined browser profiles, we can take the browsers into our control. So how do we create a user-defined profiles for Chrome, Firefox? I'll show that. Once we take the browsers into our control using the options class, Chrome options class, Firefox options class, while using that options class, we can handle like information bars and maximizing the browsers, disabling information bars, notifications, page load strategies, certificators, proxy settings. What was browser manually, the same thing we can do with using options class. If you want to necessary settings, first of all, you have to take browser into our control just by creating our user-defined browser profiles. On that user-defined browser profiles using options class, we can do necessary settings. Okay, and next come to the synchronizations. Friends are where you know that scripts will be very fast in execution, where application elements loading will take more time to load. It will be some delay time to load that any element. If you are putting the target to do the action, and load time will be very slow. So where there is a chance failure of your script, script is fast, application load time is very slow, so there is some gap is there where our scripts are getting failed. We have to put some synchronization between your application web elements and your scripts. So where we use some synchronization methods like thread.sleep, implicit wait, explicit wait. So how we can sync that too, we'll see that. And next coming to the locators. Friends, if web application has so many web elements like text box, radio buttons, checkbox, links, drop downs, okay, web tables, web calendars, whatnot. So many elements are there in your web application. How do I interact them? How do I interact them? Then how we can interact means same simple example. Friends, we are the human beings. We want to identify any person. What we will do? What will you do, friends? If you want to identify any person, what will we do? If I want to identify any person, what I will do, friends? Tell me. If I want to identify any person, what I will do? How can I identify the person?
Identification or ID.
Yes. What is the identification? Generally, if I want to call you, what I prefer to approach you? With what reference? With what property I will approach you?
Name.
Name, right? Name is one property. Of course, not only name, every person has some set of properties starting from baby coming from mother womb. First, if any baby comes from the mother womb, what we say, hey, baby is very handsome, very colorish, nails are very long, like this we say, and like height, weight, color, complexity. Next, Aadhaar card number. Next, Namakarna we do, first name, last name, nickname, right? If he is staying in US means SSL number. If he is eligible for what card, okay, SSL number. Okay, if you're looking as employee means employee ID. All these are properties. All these are the properties for the persons. Of course, based on the situation, we'll use that property. Suppose the person is working as an employee means, what is the reference to identify that person there to calculate the salaries? If being as employee, I want to calculate salaries.
Employee ID.
Employee is a unique ID for identifying the employees for calculating salaries. We are contexting in elections. What is the identity there to identify you as a citizen of India? When you are contesting, that's a voter card, right? You must be eligible. You
Yes.
must be registered as a voter. You must be a member of, right? Which is like voter card we call it. Suppose you are purchasing any electronic goods. What is the identity there? Aadhaar card number, right?
What?
Aadhaar card. Yes. So based on situation, we are using the identity. So every person have identity properties. By using that unique identity properties, we are identifying the particular object. Similar way, in our web application also, we have so many web elements are there. How do we identify the web elements? Every web element has some set of properties like how human being has ID, name, class name, XPath, CSS, link text, password text, tag name. Like this, so many properties are there, attributes. By using these identical properties, we are interacting the web elements. So especially on locators, we'll talk like 6 hours because most of the people will struggle on and working with locators only. And in that, especially XPath, CSS, selectors, how do we write our customizer? 2 days we'll be talking on it. Out of 6 days, out of 6 hours, 4 hours is basic understanding of locators, and rest of 2 hours will be working on writing our own XPaths and own CSS selectors dynamically. We'll see some examples also in some applications. Marvin project. So this is a build tool. In real time, if any project you want to build, we're using some build tools. Of course, we have so many build tools. Ant is there, Marvin is there, Gradle is there. Of course, Ant is deprecated. Now, right now, Marvin and Gradle, these are the build tools where we can build any projects. So we'll be using the Marvin build tool. How can we build our projects? How can we add the dependencies? How can we add the configurations? Okay. How can we run the goals? Okay, how to run your project through Marvin build? Okay, na through POM XML, all those things will start in the Marvin build projects and TestNG framework. Friends, Selenium itself don't have any built-in frameworks, where TestNG is one of the Java defined framework. TestNG is a Java defined framework. So using the TestNG framework, we are building our projects. In TestNG, mainly we use the annotations, before annotations, after annotations, test annotations, listeners, data providers. We have so many annotations are there. Everything we build through annotations, execute through annotations only. Okay, na? So here we'll see that how to create TestNG classes, what annotations takes place executions. If we have more annotations, if you don't want to execute particular test case, how do we skip it? How do we set up executing the multiple test cases? How to run your test cases parallelly? Test dependencies. How to group the test case? How to work with the listeners? How to work with the data providers? How to report it using assertion classes, soft assets and hard assets. And we'll do one small pilot project in a TestNG framework. So end-to-end TestNG will be working for 9 hours. Any project will be use the build tool Marvin and framework as a TestNG. Without this, we never build any programs, any projects. And come to the page object model. Page object model is one approach where how we organize the pages. See friends, if you talk about a web application, means web application we have a number of pages. Together pages we call as a one website. Yes or no? How well you organize the pages. Okay. Instead of maintaining complexity in the pages, we make a breakdown the pages. Each page contains some web elements and some operations. Page level web elements and operations we organize in separate Java classes. 10 web pages are there, 10 Java classes. Okay, so all these things we'll see that, friends. So automating links. So majority of the web elements in your applications we can find the links. Static links will be there, dynamic links will be there, broken links will be there, hidden links will be there. Okay, now how do we interact the links? A single link or group of links in a page or specific header portion links, how to interact, all these things one fine day will talk about automating links. And coming to the automating drop downs. Yes, in drop downs where we used to select an option, single option and multi options. How do we select the options in drop down in various approaches? Using by send keys, using by select class, using by JavaScript executors, using by action classes. How do we select various options in drop downs? You'll see that. And coming to the pop-ups. So some of the pop-ups will appear when we are running your scripts, like a security pop-up, JavaScript pop-ups, HTML pop-ups, Windows pop-ups. Various pop-ups will be occur during executions and stops your executions. How can we handle various types of pop-ups in automation? We'll see that. And come to the actions class. Some of the elements, some of the advanced elements can't be interacted directly with the WebDriver. In that case, we will take a support of the, so here mouse hovering elements, right clicking, double clicking, chain actions, dragging and dropping elements, automating sidebars, like this kind of advanced elements directly cannot be performed with the WebDriver. Then we'll take a support of the actions class. We'll discuss all those things. And JavaScript executors. How we write a WebDriver scripts using Selenium WebDriver. interacting web elements, how we perform the actions. The same thing we can do with JavaScript executor also. One fine day we'll talk about JavaScript executor. How do we identify the elements? How do we write a scripts in using JavaScript executor also? And coming to the Windows components. Friends, my Selenium will not automate the Windows elements. It only automates the web elements only. Okay, now if any window elements appears during execution of the Selenium using the when we are running web applications, suddenly some Windows elements occurs. How can we handle them? Nothing to worry. So we will have some open source Windows automation tools are there. AutoIT, Supli, Robotics, like these Windows automation tools are there. By using any one of the free Windows automation tool, we can automate and we can execute it. So here using AutoIT, I'll tell you how to download, how to install AutoIT code, how to compile the code, how to associate this AutoIT code into the web driver script. Everything we will discuss on it. And next come to that automating web tables. So some of the elements will be present inside tables, like static tables, dynamic tables will be there. How do we work with different approaches? And in web tables, we have calendars. And paginations web tables are there. Pagination web table means 10 rows only. If the 10 rows completed, next 11 to 20 has to come. So when I click on next button only, next page will come. In next page, one more table comes, which is indexing with 11 to 20. That 20 filled the next page I want to go with. If I click on next, 21 to 30 will come like this. Web table paginations. How do we work? Web tables, web calendars, static tables, dynamic web tables. We'll talk about this web table concept. And when we are automating the scripts, so each step requires some test data. Where do we organize the test data? There are various data sources are there. In that respect to data sources, we are going to be organized. From there, we are taking that to the script, like log4j, properties files, XML files, Microsoft Excels. These are the various data sources where we use to organize our test data in giving to the test case steps. So only for this all this data management, we'll talk about 7 to 8 hours. And next come to the grid. So if you want to scale and distribute your developed WebDriver scripts parallelly in many operating systems and many browsers, we take support of the grid. In grid, we used to do some configurations like creating the hub and the nodes, and there we pass the desired capabilities. Desired capabilities we are passing, and passing that the hub IP address. Okay, all these things, and we take our scripts to execute parallelly in many operating systems and many browsers. So this is what we're going to be discussing in the Selenium WebDriver grid. And let's come to the DevOps. So DevOps is a culture which extends so many components like Selenium, how we have. Yes, DevOps has Ant build tool, Maven, Gradle build tools, and CDCA pipeline, Jenkins, and we have a SVN and source control tool like SVN, VSS. Okay, we have so many components are there like Puppet, Dockers, Kubernetes, like this. Micro Focus, like this, so many components together we call as a DevOps as culture. Used by the developers, will be used by the testers, will be used by the integration team, will be used by the deployment team. Team will be used by use the DevOps. Where testers, we are mainly focused on the components as Maven build tool and source versioning control tool as GitHub servers and CDCI, Jenkins. These are the three components which we cover in DevOps, and be covering the